Hey, true believers, Englentine here. Wow. So I started this video. Basically, the way I do it is I went to January and went through all the independent comic books that I have read, and I picked out the worst ones, which I already did a worst independent comic book of 2018. Check that out. It's a lot of fun. And for that, I only found like 20, 30. For best, however, I had to pull out, I pulled out 73 titles that I loved that were independent comic books. And then I had to whittle that down to what you see here, which is 10 with 5 runner-ups, so basically 15 books. And that was a tough call because you got to go through, okay, I kind of liked it. I liked it. I didn't really love it, that kind of thing. These are the 15 that really affected me, number one especially, and I recommend you try to find them. Just some good books all around, and they definitely deserve and need the attention. So let's get this party started, gang. Starting off the runner-ups at number 15, we have Elsewhere. Man, the hardest thing about this is saying elsewhere, not elseworlds, when I'm just casually talking about it. So, anywho, the premise. What an amazing premise. D.B. Cooper and Amelia Earhart, when they disappeared, they ended up on this strange land. It's filled with all sorts of aliens and weird creatures, and it's just wow, this book is good at world building. And it's so much fun. It's an adventure story. And my gosh, I don't want to give too much away because this really is something you should search out the TBB for. And I think that you'll be thoroughly entertained. This issue alone was awesome. You know what? I recommended it when it first came out. I sang its praises every time it did. And I'm doing it right now. 2018, number 15, Elsewhere. Not Elseworlds, Elsewhere. Check it out. You will not be disappointed. Number 14, Red Sonja. Now, I have to be completely honest with you. I can do without Red Sonja. This is not a character I've ever really followed. I read, when she was under the Marvel banner, I read a few, and I've read a few, of course, with, I believe it's Dynamite. God, I forgot what company. Anyway, it's so, the thing is when Amy Chu grabbed onto her, though, she found a voice. And that's what's really important. I just actually had a comment saying, oh, no, they have to put their voice into the character. No, you find the voice of the character. And that's Red Sonja right here, man. This is an adventure story that is done well. And this is a strong woman who is a strong woman, not somebody who needs the people around her to be weak to be strong. And I think, once again, that's just based on the strength of Amy Chu's writing. And you know what? You're going to hear that name again later in the countdown. Number 13, Dark Ark. Now, along with Noah's Ark, there was an arc with mythical creatures. Gosh, I can't talk right now. Mythical creatures, vampires, monsters, the whole 9 yards, and they're trying to sabotage. They're trying to survive. It's just all sorts of evil deeds afoot. Recently, they just found land. So it's gotten even more interesting because now it's like, okay, well, what happens next? What happens next? Man, this has been consistently good. This is like the MVP player of the year, which me praising this, and it's a runner-up, should tell you how much I enjoyed the other books. But this is also one. If you haven't picked it up yet, start picking up the hard copies, of course, but try to find either back issues or the trade paperbacks. This is really one, while I can recommend it, should be read from the beginning. Number 12, The Dead Hand. Man, so you thought the Cold War was over, did you? Man, this is like the best Steranko since Steranko. Seriously, if you haven't read like Nick Fury back in the actual Cold War days, that was some great spy comics. This is that. This is what this reminded me of, especially this cover. Holy Toledo. It was so good. What really gets me is the beginning starts off, it's very much... it starts off with one of the only effective movie openings, where they do an action shot and then it shows the credits page. It really does look like a nice transition in a movie. And then it just tells you small town life and in Alaska and such. And it's this really kind of almost like Mayberry setting. And then all of a sudden the ending is like, kaboom, here you go. We're in the Cold War still. And it's just awesome. And the runner-up to the top 10, the one that just didn't make it, at number 11, we have Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Shattered Grid. Now, I am not a Power Rangers fan. Sorry, gang, I was way too old when it made the States, and then I was like, well, that looks stupid. And so I never really glommed onto it. It's just not my thing. Not putting anybody down who liked it. Glad you did. But this book made me freaking care, man. So this was supposed to be the big crossover. So I was like, well, maybe I should check it out for a review. Reviewed this issue and went, holy Toledo, that was good. It really was. Granted, and here's why it's right here and not in the top 10, is while it went, it got more into the mythos and it kind of drew me out a little bit. I still finished it. It's a great story. Check it out. Because if it can make somebody who really actively did not like the Power Rangers like them, if you like the Power Rangers, you're going to love this. You're just going to be flattened by how good this story is. And yeah, then that's why it made it to number 11 and not quite cross into the top 10. Number 10. Sometimes things come out of nowhere and just slap you in the face to make you pay attention, and The Adventures of Nick Wilson did that to me. It should not. I should be like bored with this book. It's about a superhero who lost his powers. Now he's just an average, everyday schlub, and he begins to reconnect with the people he knew before he became the superhero that he used to be. And it's almost a tale where it's like, oh man, you kind of feel bad for the guy because nothing's gone right since he lost his superpowers. But it's also just, you know, you want to see him succeed. You also want to see him become the superhero again, but I'm glad it didn't go into any kind of cliches. It's a slice of life, romance, lonely loser story that mixes in with some great comedy, and it's just such an entertaining tale. Number 9. The Green Hornet, and this is the other mention of Amy Chu, and let me tell you something. It's great to have a writer or an artist that gets you excited about whatever book they're on. Very few, even of the classic writers, are doing that for me these days. It's like, okay, we'll see what we have. Because I read so many comics, you kind of get jaded after a while, but I am never jaded when Amy Chu picks up a book. I was, however, about this one. Okay, let's be honest. We just got over the whole, oh, we're making this character, that we're gender swapping or race swapping and all that kind of stuff. So when I saw this, I was like, oh, great. And I love Green Hornet. So I was like, God dang it. Amy, what you going to do here? And I even made a video about it. And then I had to basically, you know, eat a lot of crow because the way that she became Green Hornet was natural. It was so well put together. This is not an immediate kind of thing. It fit into the story itself. Ladies and gentlemen, I so recommend Amy Chu's Green Hornet. Number 8. Nancy in Hell. Got to admit, this is the 4th time I've recorded this. It's because I can't seem to properly describe the craziness this book is. I did a review for Patreon. I loved it, raved about it. It is so much fun. This image right here, actually, if I want to describe it, I just have to point to the cover right here. She's wearing a halter top, short shorts. She's carrying a big bloody chainsaw. Everything's covered in blood. Yes, that's it. Now, if you don't like bloody comic books, this isn't going to be for you. If you don't like ultra violence, this is not going to be for you. But what is amazing is it still manages to have character and make you care about the characters. Not just her, but the zombie biker gang that follows around helping her fight all these demons and such. There's a lot to this book, a lot more than just the violence. I don't want to sell it on just that. However, the violence makes it fun. Number 7. Ice Cream Man. So Ice Cream Man starts off, you have a little boy, he's at the ice cream truck, and he takes his cone and he goes on home and opens the door, puts a clothespin on his nose before he opens the door, walks in, and hey, there's his dead parents. And that's how it starts. And this is an anthology book. It's an anthology horror. And wow, it's just so out there. I use crazy for Nancy in Hell. This is weird. This is weird horror, but every issue is good. They did one with a clown that I found particularly, I would say, unnerving. Check it out, though. If you like horror books, Ice Cream Man is definitely up your alley. Number 6. Infidel. There's a lot to like about Infidel, and I can see in this crowd a lot of people might not because it's about this Muslim girl, but she gets a lot of prejudice from everyone, not just, the people who are like, oh, I hate the Muslims. Her boyfriend loves her because she's a Muslim, to the point where even he's like one of those types that only see the demographic. Her mother wants her to be the perfect Muslim. Her grandmother sees her as the mother-in-law sees her as the terrorist. And all the while, they live in a tenement that had been burned down, and she's seeing the ghosts of the victims of the fire. So it's all these things in one, and you would think it would be too much. You would think that, you just packed it in all in one story. You should stretch this out. No, this is really handled well. This is a really great horror story mixed in, of course, with all the Muslim stuff. So it's up to you as to whether you could take that or not. I did, and really enjoyed this book. Number 5. Another book I was not expecting to be good, but it did, and I had a hard time even understand what the title was. It's Isola, and wow, what an incredible story this has been. So you follow this young lady, and she's with a tiger, and she's talking about a guard, and she's talking about a princess, and I was like, wait a second, is the tiger's a princess? What? That's the way it's going to be? And, so she's got to protect this tiger, and it's amazing that you get to feel the connection between her and this tiger princess that she's sworn to protect. And the book ends with the death of the tiger. It's like, whoa, hold on, this is awesome. And it just continues from there. And I'm not going to talk about the rest. I just want to leave it right here, because this story is one that you need to discover. It's as it goes. It's so amazing. I was so impressed with Isola, and it's one of my favorite books of the year, not just independent comics of the year. Number 4. Now, it doesn't take a genius to see that Middle West is basically Wizard of Oz. But wow, what a retelling, Instead of Toto, you have a fox. The tornado is his angry father. It's just written so well. This came right at the end of the year, too, and just kind of hit. I mean, this is, wow. I like that. It's like, okay, you kind of have your mind set on what your top 10 is going to be, and then something says, no, I want to be in there. Where can I be? It's a very well-written story. You feel for this kid because his father seems to be unreasonably angry all the time, and you feel for this kid who just wants to go about his life and go about his day, to the point where when they finally have the blow up, he turns into this tornado creature. And that's why I'm saying, okay, yeah, this is Wizard of Oz. At some point, he's going to come back, and of course, the father's going to be a man again or whatever. That's my guess anyway. We'll see. We'll see though. Number 3. Fighting American. Man, when Captain America is not being written well, you want a good patriotic hero, go to Fighting America. This is such a good story. In this one, of course, they're transported to the future, well, to now, anyway, and the villain is actually making the Fighting American look like a villain, framing him for stuff. Speed Boy is finding out that he doesn't have to be under Fighting American's thumb in modern day, so everything's falling apart for him. It's such a cool story, and it, like I said, if you're tired of the way Captain America is being written, this is the book to find. Guys, I've said it before about other ones. This is old style comic book fun. Yes, I am talking like this on purpose. It really is. This is old school comic booking right here. You should check it out. Number 2, Archie 1941. Let me tell you something. I am not a Riverdale fan. I think that show sucks. I'm not a big fan of dramatic Archie. Horror Archie tends to be okay, but Archie 1941, where he's graduated high school, everybody's pressuring him what to do. He's hearing what's going on overseas, and he's contemplating whether or not to join the army and to go to war. That's what this issue is all about. His father is pushing him. You got to be a man, stand up, be a man. It's really a coming-of-age story. It's real. A lot of people say, well, Archie's a coming-of-age story. This is a coming-of-age story, and it is written so well, and it's drawn so well. Like I said, not a fan of Riverdale, but man, Archie 1941 really affected me. I've loved that book to the point where, as far as independent books are concerned, there's only one I would consider better. And the number 1 independent comic book of 2018 is just one of those books that comes out of nowhere, slaps you in the face. It's called Meth the Immortal. Holy Toledo. What the hell? I picked this up on a lark. It's a pig on a pile of bones. So I was like, okay, what is a killer pig? What's going on here? So I pick it up, and it turns out this is a pig that ate from the forbidden fruit, of Adam and Eve fame. They had their bite. He comes over. He finishes it up. He is now unkillable. He's immortal. And it's just about his journey through time. And my gosh, this was so cool. It really was. I'm giving you basically the same kind of excitement that I did in the original review when I had it here. I was just floored by this book. This is not just one of the best independent comic book. This is one of the best comic books of all year. I would really like to put them side by side. Not that I'm doing yet another top 10 list or whatever. Just, guys, check this book out. Search it out. It is definitely worth it. What a great year for comic books. There really was. There were a lot of good books on the shelf. I had to pick from 73 titles to get down to these 15. And I'm sure I missed some of your favorites, so let me know what you would put in your top 10. Let me know what I have in my top 10 or my runner-up, the top 15, that you wouldn't put in there. I'd love to hear it. Make sure that you read the book, though. Don't be one of those dicks that are like, yeah, that just looks bad, or that's by that person who said this on Twitter. I'm not reviewing Twitter. I'm reviewing comics here. But yeah, by all means, let me know what you thought in the comments below. Also, if you liked the video, you want to see more, well, I'm going to hang off on the year-end comic book reviews for a while, but I'll still have more reviews and such. But if you want to see more cool videos, stay here on I Love Comics. Check out what I've got here already. Hit subscribe. Hit notifications, because that's what YouTube actually cares about. Also, if you don't mind helping out the channel, unfortunately, they ended my live streams for 3 months, so by all means, go on over to Patreon, and I'm going to have a, what is it called, Ko-Fi, so just drop $1 in the till. Helps keep making videos for you. Thank everybody who's already done that, and to everyone, all of the true believers, thank you very, very much for watching.